Welcome to Model Horse Tack School. My name is Carrie, and today we're going to do a saddle pad for the Australian stock saddle. So I've picked this shape for my stock saddle. It's going to be similar, might be just a little bit different after we're done. So what I did is I sketched out what I want the pad shape to be. I have both a right side and a left side. Right side and left side, and then I also have an extra one here for the stuffing that I'm going to use. And this is just a prototype. It's not an actual pattern that I would sell, but it's just a prototype for you to see, you know, how I would do it. I'd find the shape that I want, I would go ahead and trace it out or sketch it out, and then I would fit it and make sure it's going to fit on the model. This is for seam allowance, but that's what the pattern looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these pieces apart. Okay, what I'm going to do is this I'm going to make out of my fabric, and I just basically fat quarters at Walmart, found pink because that's going to be the color, basically the color theme. And so I'm going to go ahead and pin this just like this to the fabric. Okay, so it's pinned on, and I am assuming you have a sewing machine. If not, you're going to have to hand sew, but at least I've got this ready from my sewing machine. And the next thing I need is some type of batting or something, something to thicken it up. This is just a piece of, it could be, you could use craft felt, you could use, this here is just some batting. It's like a replacement for a wool batting. And for this, I'm going to just cut this out. So I'll pin it, and then I'm going to cut out two pieces, a right and a left, on the inner line here, so that I can use that to tuck in to my sewn pieces after I've turned them right side out. So there we go, all cut out, and I don't need the paper anymore. And I'm going to go ahead and next step is to go to my sewing machine, or you can hand sew, however you want to do that. And I'm going to sew on my sew line, leaving the top open. So I'm going to sew only the sew line that's around here. Okay, and I'll be back. Okay, so it's just a straight stitch. I kind of went over here, so I undid that stitch, but it's right around here. And so now I'm going to cut the outside, not the inside. I need to leave that. Okay, so I cut those out, and I did it a lot tighter than the seam allowance, because I'm gonna, when I fold this inside out or right side out or whatever, I don't want to have a whole bunch of fabric on the edge. And then I just split it right down the middle here. Like I said, it's a prototype pattern, so the instructions aren't on here like my regular patterns are. And I'm not even sure I'm going to offer this for sale, but you could do it yourself. I just want you to see what it is that I do. Now I'm going to go ahead and take off the paper. I do want to keep, actually I don't, well, I'm going to keep one of these just to help me remember where this line right here is, because that'll be the important one for maintaining the fit. So I'll go ahead and get these ripped off. Okay, now that the paper is off, I'm going to go ahead and turn these right side, making sure I get my corners, and then I'm going to go iron them. Okay, and that will make it a lot easier if you iron them before we go to the next step. Okay, so now that I have ironed these, and I even ironed in these unsewn edges so that they're inwards like that. Now, make sure I have a right and a left. There we go. What we're going to do is we're going to fit these to tuck right in there. So at this point, it depends, for whatever reason, because of the ironing and all of that. I need to make sure that these are going to fit. Okay, I'm just trying to teach you how to do things, so we will deal. And I want to try to tuck those down in there, and then get it to lay flat. And doing it this way, instead of sewing it with a filling in, helps with these corners not being, or the seams not being so so bulky, right? Because if I sewed these with the batting in there, then I would have that inside my seam, and then my seams would be just way too thick. So I'm going to go ahead and work these in whatever time it takes so that they will lay flat. And when I get that done, I will be back. Okay, so that padding is in there, and I ironed it again just to make sure everything's laying nice and flat, because that third dimension is what's important, right? We all know the third dimension in miniatures. Okay, so now what I need to do is this line here is what I'm trying to match. And yeah, kind of feel it on the where the stuffing is, I guess you would call it. So what I'm going to do is put these two together. I would say right sides together. So whatever I want have be the right sides, like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and I can use this as a guide with right sides together, and go ahead and sew right on this line right here. So now I can open that up, and that would be the side that would be right side up. What I'm going to do with these is I am going to fold them under like that. I should probably iron these real quick. And I'm going to go ahead and sew a line right through here, right through here. So there you go. There's the finished piece, and it's ready to be put onto the saddle. Thank you for spending time with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like, subscribe, tell all your friends, and I'll continue making videos. Yeah, that was my first try. It's pretty disgusting. And that one didn't come out very well either. But finally, you know, you get one. All you need is one. That worked.